Are we live? Are we live? Are we
Yeah.
live? Of course we're live. What's going on, people? Welcome back to North London Mayhem. And let's get straight on to it. Let's address the comments here. Pick up Ahmed as always. Benny says lateness is greatness.
How's it
like
going,
I like
gentlemen?
that knows. Legend has it is still celebrating. But big up everybody. Welcome to the North London Mayhem show. Prem, my governor, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, David. It's really good to be here. Ahmed and Benny, thank you for their support being here this evening. Um, I'm definitely excited for tonight. We've got some good things to discuss, and just to be here with the fans. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm sitting on top of the
Yes.
world. No pun intended.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Look, people, you know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe the minute you get in here. Just all it takes is one click of the like button. It helps boost the channel. And one more thing that I need to mention is that please subscribe to Footy Therapy. Link to the to their channel is in the description of this video. They are having an awesome show tomorrow night. They've
Tomorrow
actually
night,
got
they've got a massive show.
Mason,
Yeah,
Mason and
definitely.
Greg is going to be on. It is a very. I'm looking forward to that show. So yeah, it's going to be very insightful and it's going to be one that's definitely going to add value. So yeah, Gav, how's your weekend been, my guy?
It's been good. It's been good. I mean, we hate the international breaks. Although it's one Saturday off, it feels like 2 weeks off with football. It's just one Saturday we skip. But with nothing happening midweek, it drags it out. So, but I'm actually, quite happy with the break. For us, that the lack of
Mm.
midweek football gives our squad a very big sort of recovery period. Um, and then we play the Monday night, I think, actually, even. We've actually got a
Yes.
longer
Yeah.
break than others. So
And that's
my weekend is
taking
great.
into consideration the fact that you don't even play midweek. Do you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly. And I
even
think
more rare.
we've actually only got 8 players away on international duty,
Sure. That's
which is
nice.
not a bad thing. We've only got
That's
eight
not
players.
bad at all, bruv. That's not bad at all. But yeah, look, you know what? Let's get into it. Only one place to start: Manchester City versus Arsenal. Oh, big up, Glenn, my guy. How are you? Hope you well. I didn't forget about Glenn. We need to definitely do that show for sure. That's for sure. So yeah,
Definitely.
people as well, go and subscribe to Guna Matters. Very exciting, insightful guests on his show as well. He had Tyron on there as well. So big up Ty and big up Guna Matters. But yeah, Gav, let's get straight into it. What did you make before I give my thoughts on Manchester City versus Arsenal? What did you make of it?
I thought it was a very um, cagey affair in terms of, for me, it was a case of Arsenal were really going at it, but very cautious in a way as such, not very gung ho. And I felt City were content with winning by the odd goal,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see that they were very content. They were waiting for the era to come, but I think it's just a big feather in the cap of Arsenal. When they cranked it up in the final 15 minutes, when they were brave in not just setting for the point, when they threw
Mm.
caution to the wind. Um that 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 was and I can see why a lot of pundits are saying this could be Arsenal's year. This could be definitely be Arsenal's year, more than last year, this year, because there was a lot of bravery in what they showed in that last 15 minutes. That summed up the progress of Arsenal for me. It's not the results, obviously the results before this, but that
Mm.
last 15 minutes summed it up. That, listen, if we're going to go for the game, we're going to go for the game. If we're going to get beat, we're going to take it on the chin. We're going to get beat. We know that we're going to be in contention, but here's our opportunity now to take City. And fortune favored the brave, and you guys pulled it over the line.
Say no more. I couldn't agree with you more. I must admit, for me, I felt we deserved it, and I must give credit to Arteta with the changes that he made. Because I won't lie to you, when I saw that lineup, I thought, oh my lord, we are fucked. When I saw Jorginho in the midfield, but after his yellow card, he actually did well. So credit to Arteta for the substitutions. William Saliba, wow, I don't know what to say about that guy anymore.
Mm.
22 years of age, but damn, the way he bossed Haaland. But before I come on to Arsenal and wax lyrical about Arsenal, do you think that I know everyone is talking about the fact that De Bruyne wasn't there and Rodri isn't there, and of course they will miss him. And like you said, Pep went a bit cautious and we restricted him to one shot on target. But do you think that now that De Bruyne isn't there and Haaland's not getting the supply, you're actually showing what you have said last year that without his goals, what does he do? What else does he add to the game?
Look, I said it in the beginning of the season. And again, there was a lot of people on the show and on Footy Therapy. People questioning and even like just football people all over the show that I speak to. Why do I say that the Bruyne looks disinterested in Manchester City? He doesn't look as if he. I still believe he doesn't look like he wants to be there. I
Mm,
think that he looks like he's okay with having a bad game and not really putting himself about. But if it happens to happen, then he will go. He will put the effort in and he'll finish it. But he's not looking where last year he was very determined to want to prove a point. For me, he proved the point, won the treble, won the Champions League. He just kind of there's a lot of games this season. He just ghosts through games. Now,
mm,
what he will do is he's the type of guy he'll score three in a game. He won't score for 3 weeks. He'll score another three. That's 6 goals in 3 or 4 games, right? Some people will take 10 games to score 6 goals and we're saying they're having a good season.
mm,
He will score 6 goals over 4 games. That 2 games in between, he's awful. He's literally you're playing with 10 men. He's awful. So people sum it up by the statistics of look at how much goals he scores, look at how many games he's impactful this season. The one thing I will say is when he's on, his game has developed immensely under Pep.
mm,
His game has developed so much so in the Champions League the other night there was a goal. In fact, before the goal in the second half, there was a chance created where his control of the ball, um, the way he held the play off, controlled it, played it back to one of the oncoming midfielders, spun and moved. Now, the Brainer in the first few months at City last year, the ball would have ricocheted elsewhere because he doesn't have a first
mm,
touch. And I think that
mm,
how his game has developed under Pep, um, for me, he's really developed into a good player. But he doesn't look like I want to do it 38 games of the season.
mm,
He will ghost around, and I think you guys knew after 50 minutes this guy's not interested in the game. Saliba's
mm,
got him in his pocket, and he's not going to put up a fight. And I think
mm,
that is a concern for Pep this year. That if he's not going to put up a fight, you've got a lot of injuries. Do you move Alvarez forward and take him off? I
mm,
mean, that will be music to the media's ears. It will be top story if he gets substituted without the reason of injury or anything of that nature. So I think it's a bit of a concern. Pep losing 3 games in a row, 2 league games, one Carabao Cup game. Yes, they won in the Champions League, but he brought players on that changed the game. He brought players on Sunday, better opposition, better quality of opposition, and he started. So big, big, big
mm.
eyes coming on in the next game, the next league game.
Mm. Yeah, no, look, I agree with you because, and that is the thing. What I've always said, like for me, I take nothing away from Haaland. He is a killer. He's one of the best goal
Yeah,
scorers in world football. But there's no way on God's green earth that a player like that can win Ballon d'Or, my man. No ways, no ways. For me,
nah,
like, do you know what I mean in terms of ability? It's an individual award for me. So for me, there's only one player that I would say can match him. Or I wouldn't say in match him, but that must win Ballon d'Or for me, and that's Messi, simply because of the World Cup and how I performed in that. But another player which I want to give dues to, I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong, but obviously because you know how I feel about the English tax and all of that.
rice,
Declan Rice,
baby.
I was not familiar with your game, brother. Wow, what a fucking player. Nah, he's brilliant. Really,
Penny
really.
told you. Penny did tell you that guy
I thought,
was.
look, everyone knows how I feel about Kai Havertz. But that's because I've seen a Kai Havertz be absolutely dog shit and trash for 3 years. But
Yeah.
I knew Rice was good. But now that I see him week in, week out, I never knew how good he was. Talk to me about Rice. What do you have to say about and how his impact that he's made at Arsenal?
Look, I remember speaking to Ollie about this. That why I think he is a very good player. And I'm not sure if it was if it was on the spot here. But someone ridiculed me when I said I think he's one of the best in the world in his position. When he plays for England, for West Ham, you won't see it because he's at a club at a struggling club and he stands out. Um, would he be as good as at another club as what he is at West Ham? And I said that at the time because you never knew where it was going. Would it have been Man United? Was it going to be Man City? Was it going to be
Mm,
Arsenal? And I think that he's actually playing with. I'm not going to say that you have a better team than United or Arsenal. I just think United have bad management at the moment. I
mm,
would say that under the right hands, maybe they'll play a different side of football, but the end result will be positive, right?
mm,
City would obviously have a better caliber of player than what you have at the moment. And you look at what he's brought to Arsenal's team and how he makes them. He is the real deal in his position.
mm.
He is the real deal. You know, I don't think
He
he'll
is.
get the credit in terms of being Ballon d'Or nomination quality yet.
Mm,
Obviously, as a CDM, it's hard for those players.
of
It's like a
course.
goalkeeper that gets nominated and gets the recognition, But I do
Mm,
think that literally, you'd struggle to find, you struggle not to put it this way, in the top five in his role in the world at the moment.
mm.
He puts up a good argument against most players in his role. He's
Facts.
proved at the international stage, on the international stage for England. I think he's what Henderson was at Liverpool is only his first few games, but he could surpass that um, if Arsenal go on to win a European trophy and a league title.
Mm. I think Ahmad sums it up perfectly. Brings us
Yeah,
stability and calmness in midfield. He's immense, honestly. The only two players which really worried me. The first half was David Raya, my man. I had flashbacks of fucking Manuel Almunia in the first half
yeah,
with his kicking. And
yeah.
I don't know, he's starting to worry me. I initially said at the beginning that look, I want Raya to start, but my good golly gosh. And as for Edward and Ketia, I think we know he's not the answer. Do you think we will go for that strike in January before we move on to Spurs?
I think at times, and I'm glad Khalib
Remember,
is on the
remember, sorry,
show. No, no,
Brightwood.
no, no.
Remember,
Wait.
he's
I'm
playing Isaac
I'm
now on the
glad
wing.
I'm glad Khalib is on the show because remember how he mocked me for saying when I said, "Did you sign Jesus for the press? Is that why you brought him? Because if he's coming to Arsenal wanting to play in that role, he needs to score you 20 goals a season, match-winning goals to win the league. I don't think he scored 25 goals for you in his time at
Mm,
Arsenal. He's had
mm,
injuries.
mm,
He's now shifted out to the wing, so he was
mm,
not the answer. All right.
mm,
So we're gonna go back to Eddie. I think the impatience of Arsenal fans on Eddie is the fact that you sign Jesus, he's not scoring the goals. You're impatient with the fact that you've been spoiled with the Aubameyangs, goal scorer, Henry, goal scorer. You had
mm.
Reyes, you had Giroud, you had everybody that was contributing. I think Eddie needs time because he's not always been bad. He's not always been bad, DB. Your desperation is you want to see the ball in the back of the net and you want him to be a goal scorer. And he's not. He's trying to. He's trying, and I think he's succumbing to fan pressure inside the stadium and outside of the stadium of Arsenal fans. He's
Yeah,
not
but
doing that badly. He's not.
yeah, but you say that, but remember our expectation has now gone up. We need to win the league. If we can't win the fucking league with Eddie and Ketia, brother, you and I both
But you
know that.
didn't do it to Gabriel Jesus. And my thing is, I got
But we came
ridiculed for
close.
asking, is he the answer for you?
But we came close. We came close though. But that's because it was contributions by around
But
the
you're
team.
really close. You're still close now.
I don't.
You're really close now. So is the pressure that's on Eddie and the negativity is getting, is it warranted?
I
Because
just don't think he's not. I just think he's not good
you
enough for Arsenal. I just think he's not good enough for Arsenal.
then you're going to have to go out there and you're going to compete with the rumors of he has agreed verbally to sign for Spurs. He has shaken the hand of Todd Bowley that is going there, and that man is Ivan Toney.
I know
You
that's the
haven't
one I
entered
want.
the race, and apparently, if you read a lot of the socials, it's a fight between Chelsea and Spurs where he's going to. He's had a gentleman's agreement with Todd, and he's also agreed terms already with Spurs. So for you to enter the fray, I always say that if there was a straight three-horse race for any player between Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea, people will still choose Arsenal over both clubs. Spurs will have to offer you something, not in terms of money, but guarantee you.
Chelsea also in terms of the money.
People will go to Chelsea with the money. Player will go to Spurs because Spurs will tell you won't have to compete with anyone. You will be in that position.
That's the thing. If he goes
Whereas
to
at
Spurs,
Arsenal now or even under Wenger, you might have to compete, but I'm going to give you 5 to 10 games to prove yourself. Other than that, you're going to have to compete, and people will choose Arsenal. So I think if the minute you enter the race, I'm feeling he'll choose you over Chelsea and Spurs. But for now, if you're resting on your laurels and you guys haven't made an approach, maybe Arsenal have got their eye on Blajovic. Maybe they've got their eye on
maybe something. Yeah, look, we went for him before, but
the Arsenal, the Brighton guy, Shane Ferguson. I believe he's a Gooner fan. I'm not. If I speak under correction.
I think so. Yeah, Ferguson.
I
But
speak under
Brighton, how much
correction,
do you
I
think
believe-
Brighton is gonna demand high flipping bucks for him? Think about it.
Yeah, they wanted 40. We had to go for it. They wanted
But
40,
look,
and then we
overall,
settled for
happy.
Brendan Johnson.
Like I said, overall, I'm happy. Like I said, credit to Arteta. It shows they're learning, and like you said, you summed it up perfectly. We have learned since last year. Best defensive record in the league. I think you guys top us only on goals scored, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a goal scored. You guys
And
have 1 goal or 2 goal better defense, but we have
a better
we have the
start
2
than
goals
last.
more.
We've got a better start than last year. We haven't did convincing. Like I said, I feel we can
Last
still
year,
go up.
we've had our best start. It's 53 years.
Let's come on to
53
Spurs.
years.
Let's come on to Spurs. Let's come on to Spurs. I can see you beaming. Let's not waste any time. Yeah. What did you make of the game? I said to you, I think it was gonna be 5-0. Strangely enough, Basuma gets sent off, and once again, Madison pulls something out of the hat. And Mickey van der Ven pops up, who I think is an awesome defender. Really, I think he's quickness of the mark.
Thank you to Liverpool. I'll say again, thanks to Liverpool.
Yeah,
thanks to Liverpool for pulling out of the deal. Yeah, look, I told you we're gonna struggle, and you told me Spurs won't struggle. You've predicted Spurs will be up there in terms of league title contenders. You've called it from the start. Do you remember? I think it was on Footy Therapy and on your show at the start in it. And I think Ollie was like, "What are you talking about?" You said Spurs will contend for the title with this coach.
Spurs will be there.
And I said to David, "Don't be crazy. This guy will be sacked in January because what does he know about football?" So I don't know if you're sticking to your theory of Spurs will challenge for the title. Saturday, yes, we've played 6 out of the bottom 8 clubs.
Can only beat what's in front of you. We drew with Fulham.
Exactly. So where are we at the moment? Brighton, Aston Villa, Newcastle, for me, those are proper tests. Proper tests. And the reason why I say that is, in a sad way, I think they've replaced Chelsea as being a top team. For now.
Who?
Any one of those 3 clubs are better than Chelsea. So if you think about it, we haven't played City. We've played Arsenal, we drew. We've played Liverpool, we won. We've played United, we've won. As Spurs dealt with the sort of top teams for now,
Mention those
We've just
bottom
got
teams.
City, and City's the team that we always look forward to because we
You
seem to do
always
well.
beat
For some
City every
strange
year.
reason. Um, our test will come in those three games. Liverpool,
Okay.
Brighton, Newcastle, and Aston Villa. I like the fact that our midfield is much more mobile, much more fluent. The
Sign
one-touch
Basuma.
football between Sai and Basuma and Odogi. That is the difference, man. I think we've missed having proper wing backs. I like the fact that Porro's proved a lot of people wrong. He's proved a lot of people wrong. He's actually a very, very good player. Odogi, for me, I say this: Spurs can play without Madison. We won't be as great as what we are, pleasing on the eye. I think we'll be okay if you have Basuma and Sa. Spurs can't play without Basuma.
Yeah, the content. That's
And
the
many
thing. And
you may disagree with me. You will say that
no, I
Madison
agree.
all his life, whoever's
Mm.
out there.
But
Okay,
they allow
I'm
Madison to
gonna
do his
tell you
thing.
now. They allow Madison to shine.
They allow
Let's see
Madison to do his
Spurs
thing.
without Basuma, and you
We
tell me
will.
James Madison, and not one game, right? We're playing Fulham
No,
at home,
they're
not
going
one
for the
game.
AFCON. They're leaving for the AFCON.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. Give us 3 games without Basuma, and you give us 3 games without Madison. You can have a half scale Madison in Lo Celso. There is no replica of Basuma in Spurs' side. He is the man that makes us tick. You remove Romero from our defense, it's a free flow inside there. All right? You remove Basuma out there, Madison will not be the player that he is.
Exactly.
Yes, Ahmed, Madison's free role is simple. You have Basuma inside that protects our back three or back five. He can do what he wants to. Force him to change his game as a proper central midfielder. Spurs ain't the same. Spurs are not the same. But he can drift in and out when you've got those two that are mobile. They have footballing ability. So you can't play without Basuma. We won't. You can't have Skip or Eiberg on the bench. It's not going to work. Madison's not going to be able to do what he does best.
What he does.
Carabao Cup, our midfield pairing was Lo Celso, Eiberg, and Skip. Where are we now in the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, but I know
Where
what
we
you
now?
mean. You're out here.
Saliba was gone last year. You replaced him with who at the back?
Rob Holding. You know how I feel about that, brother. Exactly.
So do you get what I'm saying? Is people are quick to say Madison makes Spurs tick? No. You've got to look at Romero, Basuma. Those are the two key players. You remove Romero from our defense, I don't think Van der Veen will be the same on his own, playing with Dyer or Sanchez or the young guy we signed from Blackburn. You'll have to throw him in the deep end. But you can take Van der Veen out and play Ben Davies here, and I think Spurs will be okay this season. We're going to struggle without Basuma unless Bentancur comes back. Bentancur's the next.
I was not about to say, what about Bentancur? Isn't he coming back soon? I know he's got a long-term injury.
November. He's only back in November.
So yeah, November's like next month, so that's like now.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, watch Spurs. If Madison's fit, Basuma's fit, and Bentancur. Now you watch Spurs compete with your midfield at your best with Partey, Rice, Odegaard. They'll be able to compete with Liverpool's midfield. They'll be able to compete with City's midfield because of Bentancur's footballing ability, doing that role, and he can he can tackle, he can play. Basuma can play, and I think Madison will actually go up another level in his game because Bentancur's an upgrade of Sa, and Sa's doing really well.
Yeah,
but Bentancur's an upgrade.
True.
So it's all looking good, but we need a striker. We need
you never know. Look, there's January still coming, and you did mention Tony. I will come back to you again after Christmas. I will ask you then, okay, Kav, what are your expectations now? I know it's still too early to call. I will come back to you again with that.
Way too early, man. It's way too early.
Yeah, I know more.
It's way too
but
early.
Let's come on to the next topic. I just want to say, last night I was having a good night. I was enjoying my evening, and then my friend called me and said, Howard Webb and Michael Owen are on YouTube. They just put on the Monday Night Football channel. Did you see what Howard Webb said, my man?
I did. I did.
First and foremost,
This
let's
is
let's
just
start. Let's. We've heard now Howard Webb come out and speak. Dermot Gallagher talks shit every Monday, which is why I don't watch.
yeah. It's
Uh,
pointless having
I
someone
don't
that.
watch Sky. I don't watch.
No,
I don't watch Sky. I don't watch Sky Sports on a Monday because of him. Who's there still? Who's the other one? Mike Dean. Did you see Mike Dean and
Yeah. I didn't see much
and
what
Paul
Mike Dean said,
Merson?
but look, let's address the elephant in the room. The VAR Liverpool thing.
Let's start there.
So firstly, you can't blame Spurs. We didn't call the offside. We didn't disallow the goal.
Exactly.
All right. Criticize VAR, but I'm gonna touch on Jurgen Klopp, and Liverpool fans can call it what they want to.
This is gonna be a
But
very
don't be
long one. Yeah.
don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite.
Bram, it
Don't
was a
feel the
shit
victim.
call. It was a
It was a shit
call.
call. It was a shit call. Don't hide behind the whole thing where he said, "Oh, in my opinion, remove me as a Liverpool coach. The game should be replayed."
Nah, that's cocked. But
No, that's don't say in my opinion. You are the Liverpool coach. End of story. If you are a true football fan, you are a coach. You know what you are saying. You know what you're asking. In your heart, you feel the game should be replayed because you feel outdone by. You've had so many decisions that VAR has aided you in that's gone your way. To now feel the victim because the VAR and ask for the game to be replayed, blah blah blah. Then you have to replay the 2019 Champions League final. Then you're gonna have to replay the Wolves game where the goal was disallowed and the Liverpool defender standing on the goal line. There's so many games you're gonna have to replay. So do you know what? Human error. VAR never said it was going to eliminate human error. There's always going to be human error because you're asking a human to stop the screen, look at it, and make a decision. All right? Is VAR a
not
disgrace?
human. It's only one human. There are about 5 idiots
They're
sitting
five.
somewhere in a room, Bram.
Is VAR a bad thing? No. It's the application of VAR, how it's applied
Exactly.
and consistently
The
applied.
fools
That
using
Yeah.
the tool.
Agree.
That's the problem.
But did
Because
you
the calls
go
that
with
are made
land
right,
first? You land
VAR, right? The
before
calls that are
before I
made
let Ahmad
right.
land.
We don't have a problem with the calls that are made right. Okay? So even if something goes your way in VAR, you compliment VAR. If something goes against you, we have a problem with VAR. Everybody
No, but I
sympathized with Liverpool 24 hours after the game. Shit call. They were hard done by. Who says they would have won the game 11v10? Right? Who says they would have won the game? I think they have this thing that they were going to win the game. They have this thing that they were hard done by. They have this thing, because I'm talking about majority of Liverpool fans I've spoken to, how well they play in the second half this season. Hang on a minute. Spurs are better in the second half this season every game they're playing. So who said you were entitled to the 3 points?
You're
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're doing.
Who said that you were entitled to the 3 points? So to say that we agree, the minute he went off on attacking VAR and attacking people and subliminally hinting at people and disgracing the people behind who made the decisions, when humans were making decisions going your way, you didn't ask for them to lose their job. You didn't ask for games to be replayed as a football fan. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's just a bit much if you're a Liverpool fan. And you have to agree that he's going on a bit much. And then he still brings it up. I think we've gotten over the Spurs decision. Dude, we all lost respect or a lot of respect for you because you're crying over crap. To be honest with you.
you and this Liverpool, okay, but I know
So I have
exactly
a lot of time for Liverpool. We're speaking about him and the elephant in the room. He's just gone on, and it's now everything that VAR does under the spotlight. The COVID rate thing with you guys that happens week in, week out.
It's gonna be.
And now
my issue is it happened 2 years ago with the Martinelli issue where Howard Webb said no, we didn't want to spoil, he didn't want to ruin the game. You were the same that ruined that damn game. Yes, we won, but my issue here what it is, it's not whether it's a Liverpool thing, whether it's an Arsenal thing. For me, it's the integrity of the game. But if you and I are watching a game, Ahmad is watching a game. If we see a decision on the TV, I can message you now. Prem, did you see a decision? Go have a look. Did you
Yeah,
hear
we
the
both
audio?
we've both said it a lot of times
Yeah.
that they are
Did you hear
degrading the game, the
audio?
Premier League.
It sounds like five brass in a pub all on one podcast talking. Mosang, okay, mate, go check that. Okay, no, stop,
With
check that, blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
All
with
that.
maybe with
That's
Ahmed
my
being
thing.
with Ahmed watching a lot of Spanish football. Ahmed like watching Spanish because I'm not going to say that I watch Spanish football all the
That's
time. I'm not
why.
going to
That's
give
why
a
I want to
comment.
bring Ahmad on here because Ahmad
In
watches
your
a different league. Why is
yeah,
there not
in
more
different league,
controversy in their
how
league?
consistent are they, and how well do they apply VAR in the Spanish league?
To be honest, these are really controversial calls. Really, really. And if it is, it's because it's marginal. I think there was a situation where there was a handball call, but the ball literally touches the shoulder and the arm, kind of like in the same part. So it's very marginal. Where it's enough to be controversial, but it's enough to go both ways. But the calls, like me, looking from the outside, I don't support any Premier League team. So I can look at it from a different standpoint. And then when I watch a Serie A game, okay, and I go watch a La Liga game, and I go watch a Eredivisie game, and then I come to the Premier League, and all of those games have VAR decisions, and I look at how it's been handled. That is a moral. It's depressing because why the Premier League has a standard of
Yeah,
being the best football league in the world. Like I'll argue that La Liga is, guys. I'll always be choosing La Liga, but I mean, come on, we can't deny the fact that the Premier League has the best excitement, has the best players, has the best goals. Yada yada yada. You need to then have the best referees on that standpoint, and looking at how decisions are made.
100%, 100.
It's shocking because at the end of the day, what's upsetting is that they admit it afterwards.
That's the thing. That's what makes my
That's
blood boil.
upsetting.
I don't want to
They
hear the
admit it
storyline. It
afterwards.
doesn't help me. Apology helps me nothing, honestly.
It doesn't help. Apology. What if that is a UEFA Champions League final and it's a Premier League refereeing that game?
Don't go there because the Liverpool Sissoko incident. I mean, they call it his armpit, and they got a penalty. Yeah, I mean,
But you get what I'm saying. If you are on this level, you need to get it right. There is no time for mistakes. This isn't Sunday League football. This is the Premier League. You need to get it right afterwards. There's no time for human errors. VAR is there to assist to eliminate or make human errors less. But if you can't even draw an offside line correctly, you can't even make a handball call, because there's a lot of rules that I look at, I'm like, where does this rule come from? Because David knows, I go sit with the rule book and I get the shit. And then I see David the rule book and I'm like, I can't see where there was ever a rule of this and that. So there's a lot of interpretation that happens. And I don't know if there is pressure from the higher ups to be like, don't disrupt the game that much and just make a decision fast and quicker so that the game can get on. I don't know if it's that. But
well,
we
saw that again in the Liverpool game with the guy literally said, "Oh shit, you cocked up." The ball was out. They said, stop the game, make the call, just go have a look.
The game, and they said, "Now we already restarted. The game already went on."
I don't think, Bram, we mind how long you're gonna take. Just get the damn call correct, which is why I like rugby and tennis, because it's not
get the call right.
Nonsense.
You see, the thing is, if you look at rugby and you look at firstly at cricket, so cricket, when you use the third umpire, it's not going to be a person with a degree. The third umpire in cricket has to be at least a first class umpire, if not an international umpire, being the third umpire in an international game, right? So he will use his logic. He will use his experience, his logic. You have VAR, and you have a guy that's never left the game, but he's been an assistant, and you've got 4 other students sitting next to him, and they are judging this. Does that make logical sense? Like, really?
It doesn't. It feels like we sitting here can apply for that to be one of the VARs. That's how it feels. I'm sorry.
Literally, and it's hard to comprehend. The best league in the world, they don't have cameras that can take an angle of when you like the Spurs game, they're saying the reason they couldn't draw the line, that the camera angle is not going to be straight. You're running a multi-million,
Million.
billion, mega billion football league, and you
And you
say
don't have
you
the right
you
cameras.
never did the logistical checks on these kind of things, and
As
you
far
due
as I
diligence on
know,
these things.
people can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But as far as I know, the offside line on VAR gets drawn of the last playable body part.
But
Playable.
even that,
So,
look,
so even
for
that,
me, it's
how does your hand influence you being
for me.
stealing an advantage, and you can't score with your hand?
Now, even that. Now, look, I watched the Newcastle PSG game. We all watched it. The
Mm?
Premier
Yeah.
League voted against semi-automated offside. Why? Because of the blatant arrogance.
The light.
How easy was it for us to just see the okay? There you go. There's offside. There's the body. Clear, simple and plain. A computer
Like
did it. You don't complicate it.
I want you guys
But they voted
to
against that.
um I'm gonna find the La Liga game and with his calls, and I'm gonna refer back to it, and I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
guys, listen here, go watch this game and watch how the calls are being made. It's very quick and very decisive, and most of the time it's right. And I'm not being like biased because I'm Barcelona and La Liga, but go watch it in other leagues as well. It's hardly controversial. So my thing is, how does this happen?
And
That
very
They
few
La
corrupt.
Liga
stoppages,
They
right?
refs.
corrupt.
Very few stoppages
They either
also.
corrupt or incompetent. One of the two. It's one of the two.
I was speaking to Devi also. I was telling him when it gets this high, money has to be involved. Corruption. I mean, we all know corruption
They
is in
either
football. It's
incompetent or
everywhere. Where
corrupt.
there's
They
money,
either
there's
two.
corruption. Where
Nah,
there's money,
like,
there's corruption.
yeah, but anyway,
But
let's
it's
This
even it's even
blatant.
it's even
Nah.
it's even you look at if you even look at the fixtures. We're always playing to play Arsenal within the first 4 or 5 games.
what
It's like
even the
every single
first four,
season.
five every time. How many times have we played each other in
You
September and
know,
October
and
already?
and it's guaranteed that Spurs play Arsenal very early into the new year, right?
Mm.
Let's
You'll
take it
never
bigger than
have
that.
a derby, a Spurs Arsenal derby, last 2 3 games of the season. You'll never have a Liverpool Man United game, last 2 3 games of the season. You will have
Let's go bigger
at
than
least
that. Let's go bigger than
game.
that. Sorry, Brad. Let's go bigger than
Yeah,
that. Let's look at all the leagues. The biggest derby is all played in all the leagues on one day. El Clasico is the same day as the
Mm.
Man Derby. It's the same day
Etc.
as the
Uh,
Milan. It's the same
mm.
day
so
as the Eredivisie. How?
Uh,
Tell
uh,
me.
exactly. So do you
uh,
understand what I'm saying? It's absurd that you mean to say every single season I don't know how they do this. What Pythagoras series they use how to do the fixtures,
You
but
know where it comes in. It's it's
Pythagoras.
broadcasters. It's the
We
FIFA
look.
sitting with the broadcasters and
Yeah.
maximizing on profits. At the end of the day, if we tell you you guys coverage all of this, we're gonna have all of this games on one day, maximum bank. I mean, who wouldn't? If I am a broadcaster and
yeah,
I broadcast all of those leagues, because those Sky Sports they broadcast all the leagues,
exactly.
majority of the big leagues they broadcast it. So if I'm Sky Sports, I wouldn't say no if I must broadcast four of the biggest derbies on one day. I'm
Yeah.
banking. So I
Exactly.
It's
think
it's.
that is more or less what's happening. That's the only thing I can think of.
I also know of in the UK is that especially the London clubs, it's for safety reasons and also having the low manpower. When
Mm.
if you have all the London
Mm,
clubs on one particular day playing away, um, you have from a safety perspective, you'll have Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham. They all hate each other, having to depart from one train station to go up north, right? And the same thing
mm,
is let's hypothetically on a particular Saturday, you've got Liverpool going to West Ham and you've got United going to Chelsea. Um, they would have to arrive in London at the same time. So they already hate each other. And then you've got Southern clubs who already hate Man United. So you've
mm,
just got violence
mm,
written all over London on the streets. So I know from that aspect, but I mean you can have the game. If it is so that it happens last game of the season or second last, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea, Man United. Then you play them the Saturday and the Sunday. But if it happens that it's the last game,
mm.
second last game of the season, you can't tell me that it's just by some stroke of luck, all the bottom clubs will play all the top clubs.
Every
Fight for
time it is the
relegation,
same.
determine the position. Like it happens every
Yes.
season.
Yeah, that's the
It's
worst time to
dramatic. It's
play
so
the
nice and
teams, bro.
dramatic. It's dramatic if a team going for relegation happens to beat the team in the running for the Premier League and dashes their hopes and they have survival. But we're tired of that
Mm.
storyline now. How about we
It's
have
been
the
happening for years.
two teams knocking each other like completely out of the running for the league title? You know,
Exactly.
that's more. That would be brilliant to see.
Exactly. But anyway, let's come on to hits and misses. I don't want to chat too long about United and Chelsea because obviously the United guys aren't here and the Chelsea guys in here, but we'll touch on them for the
You know,
preview show.
he's dodging us like he's dodging a climbing the ladder. He's dodging us from
Yeah,
one to
Pascal,
one.
Pascal actually messaged me earlier and he said he's got load shedding tonight, but he will definitely be on for the preview show.
Oh,
I told him
he's
he
had,
must.
he's had load shedding. Whenever they were doing well, he never had load shedding. Yes, he has load shedding. Pascal, I know you're watching. I know you're watching.
But then we can touch on United and of course Liverpool and
Yeah,
Chelsea. And I'm sure
definitely,
Benny and Beaster
definitely.
will touch on their clubs tomorrow night as well on their show. Again, people, please be sure to watch the Footy Therapy show tomorrow night, of course, 7. Two of my favorite footballers, professional footballers, I know them personally, Greg Roof and Mason October will be on there as well. Mason October also recently won engine coach of the tournament, so it's going to be a nice show as well. But
Yeah.
now let's come on to hits and misses for the season. Ahmad, you can give me yours from a broader perspective. You don't have to give it from a Premier League perspective. Can be a player, can be a team. We said, Nabraham?
Anything.
Anything. So you can think so long. I know if you're gonna say hit, you obviously might go
Yeah,
for
okay.
the obvious one in Spain. But I want you to think about outside of the box there. I know you can. I know exactly what you're gonna say. I think we all can agree on it. Prem, give me your hits.
Are we going player or club or
Anything, brother, anything.
so? If I'm gonna go player, a hit for me this season. There's quite a few that have definitely stepped up and done well. Um, if I want to go goalkeeper. Let me go there quickly.
Mm.
The
Hmm.
the hit for me as a goalkeeper is definitely Allison and Edison that battle the best in the Premier League this season. A lot has gone unnoticed of how well the two of them have kept for their clubs. Allison at Spurs in that game was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was
Um,
brilliant.
Edison in a number of games for City this season has been good. It's like a battle between the two of them this year that's going unnoticed. It's going untalked about. For
Mm,
me,
mm.
that we haven't had the apart from the two of them, we haven't really. I don't think there's any goalkeeper at the moment. 10, 15 years ago, right? You would have Lehman, you had Tim Flowers, you had Nigel Martin, you had
Yeah, yeah.
Pepe Reina, right? So you had this plethora of goalkeepers
Pepe
back
Reina
then
still playing, by the way.
that were good
Pepe
keepers,
Reina
right?
still playing. Yeah.
So these guys were competing. You had Paul Robinson, you had Casey Keller, um, what was his name? Yuskalainen at Bolton. That was a very good
Yes,
keeper.
yes,
So the
Kalina
Premier
was
League,
Yeah,
the Premier League
you.
now has they've got them too. They've got them too, right? I've never rated Loris. So we haven't had the same way we had good goalkeepers in the Premier League. And I think the two of them was also quite flat for the last couple of years. But this year, wow, I think they've been brilliant. It's a straight battle. Who's the better between the two? I don't think there's any keeper that's yet up there that can say, listen, we can get into that bracket of top 5 keepers. I think the Premier League is 2 good goalkeepers. Like in Spain, I know in Spain, if you look at the Spanish national team alone, all the keepers are good
Oh,
in the
all the
national
keepers are
side.
quiet.
Sure.
Yo, all of
All
them, young.
the keepers
Yo,
are good.
Unai
let
Simon
me,
is something
yo,
else.
So that for me, just from a goalkeeper perspective, I think that's a hit. Is Allison and Edison they battle for who's going to be number 1 this season?
and your musses.
Goalkeeping misses, I'm definitely going to say. Debbie, I think your keeper.
Andre Onana.
My miss was gonna be
No,
him.
Onana is on the
black
league of his
keeper,
own.
my favorite
Onana is on
black
the
keeper.
league of his own. He's a league of his own.
I
One
love that
mistake,
guy,
two
my man.
mistakes.
I love him, you really.
Yo, Ahmed, me and Debbie were saying before the game, guys, don't rebuke us. We're not being racist, but we said
Yeah, we're
that is
not
a
being
clown
racist.
of
Yeah,
note.
let's
That
get
is
that
a
out.
clown of note, right? So this is way before the game. Debbie's at the Spurs game, and we just said earlier like that's a clown. He's a complete clown. And then I had to message Dave. Dave, you do not believe what this guy caught on the game now.
I wasn't watching. I never knew United were behind. And then he told me I was on the soccer field, and then he messaged me and he said, "You won't believe what this clown did, you." Nah, but he's
You
my
know,
He's
let me land on you just very short. You know what I think of every time Onana makes a mistake, and then I think of what Benny said. I definitely swap out De Gea for a keeper playing at the back.
Fact.
And I told him I would never. I would never. And now it's biting you in the ass.
It's definitely
Nah,
biting
for
him.
real, yo. I never
He
thought they would look the
is-
Gaia catches on his own stuff, but I never once thought that, whoa, you know what? Hey, did I break up? Can you hear me?
No, you here? You there? We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I never once thought that Onana was going to be this bad because he was decent at Inter, but
He was.
somebody mentioned to me over the weekend that he came when he was at Ajax. He used to pass to players like De Ligt, Frankie De Jong,
Yeah.
who's the other one, Donny van der Beek in their pop, Dusan Tadic ballers. At Inter, he passed
Yeah.
to players who are comfortable on the ball. You can't expect the Brad to pass to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Booker T looking right back, doing undercuts and to Harry Maguire and all of that. But yeah, he's my miss. My hit, I'm not gonna go with a conventional Declan Rice and Madison, who have been outstanding. I'm gonna drift away and I'm gonna go for Pedro Neto. That's my hit for me. I think Pedro Neto of Wolves. I think he's been brilliant. I actually want to sign him. Like I saw what he did to Liverpool and in that first half, and I saw what he did to Man City, and I just love him. So that's my hit. Ahmad, let's come on to you.
Hit very unconventional. Hit Romelu Lukaku. I don't know if you guys seen Romelu Lukaku stats since he was at AS Roma. So far. Man has been playing like seven games, scoring 6 goals, something like that. He's on an impressive run of form. So for me, there's something about Romelu Lukaku in Italy that just sticks, that just works. And the moment he gets into the Premier League, it's just nothing. So for me, that's a one hit. My other hit, or let's say the hit for the week, is Olivier Giroud on goalkeeper saving AC Milan. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was.
Yo,
he's actually been registered. He's actually been registered as a third choice keeper, and it's not a joke.
Yes, he's been registered.
Registered as the third choice keeper.
Yes.
Yo, but the way he saved that ball, like he knew dive the key. It's like strikers hate a keeper that dives at your feet, and he wins.
I think he used the strikers mentality there.
Yeah,
but also they released a Olivier Giroud goalkeeper kit. Like a limited edition kit. Milan, they're going crazy over that thing.
Did you see it's been selling, no?
Yeah, it's sold out currently as far as I know.
I like that. I like that. Actually,
that is definitely a hit. I have a question for Ahmed. Quickly,
yes.
Before we continue, Ansu Fati or Fati, whatever you want to pronounce it, being sent out on loan. Was he a teenage hype? Because he can't get into the Brighton side. You've sent him out on loan. Or what is the reason? Because I find it extremely... I'm still trying to fathom being in the Barca side when he played. He obviously showed a lot of potential. Like his age group is a cut above a lot. But then Barca decided to send him out on loan. And he gets to Brighton, and it's been a month. And he hasn't started. So he came at the end of the transfer window in August. We've won 5 games since he's been in England. He hasn't started a single game for Brighton. Your views just on Barca and
Not, I've
what
seen him come on.
orchestrated
I just can't remember.
I've seen him come on.
I've seen him
Yes,
come
he's
on.
only
I
come
remember him
on.
coming on.
He's never
But
started.
I know what's in
the
him.
game.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what brought that on?
okay.
That's a good
So
question,
the
actually.
thing. So the thing with Ansu Fati is obviously he was supposed to be the Messi successor. They gave him the team, they gave him everything. And since then, for a youngster, he handled the pressure quite well. Then he had that long-term injury where he was out for a season. And it's been one of those classical cases where the first game he came back, fire, because Barca was in the down and out. We were bad, we were struggling, we were losing to everyone. And then it's like we were waiting for him to just get done with this injury. And the first game he came back, immediately he scored and we won a game. And then the hopes and beliefs was up there. And then he just had a dip perform. That came out of nowhere. Change of managers, doesn't matter. They tried him on the striker, we tried him on the right wing, we tried him on the left wing. And then Javi's analogy is that he spoke to Fati and he needs to get his confidence up. So he said, go to a team that's playing good football. And Fati said the Zerbi was key in letting him come. What's happening at Brighton, we can't say. Why? I know that he came on and he assisted a Mitoma goal in a game or two ago. And that's the only thing I saw of Fati. But the reason for him to go is to get his confidence, because right now the competition for me is very tough. Ferran Torres is not bad. Rafinha is not bad. Lamine Yamal is also 16 and he is even keeping Rafinha out of the team.
Exactly.
So he's not at that level. Funny enough, he can't even compete with Lamine Yamal. So yeah.
That's a good education you're giving me
So-
on that, because I think the viewers also like way,
Yeah. So the hope of the loan is for him to just get his form back. To get him to a level to where he can compete for his position.
But I think the problem also is that Brighton team is such a well-oiled machine also, Prem, if you know what I mean.
That is the thing.
That's the thing. So where can he even fit in there? Because they all, I don't know what is going on there with
I think the
Brighton.
expectation was a bit too much because
yeah, sorry, Ahmed, you go.
Go ahead.
sorry, I think the expectation was a bit too much because when I also thought when I saw he went, I was a bit shocked and I was like, he's not gonna play out Mitoma on the current form because that's the only position where I can think he would play. And I mean, you're definitely not gonna bench Solly March. You're definitely not gonna leave out even Ferguson. So I think the idea with him is give you as little time, come from the pitch, but in the time make as much impact as possible to boost your confidence. And if that is the plan, the only game so far is when he did that assist. Look, when he comes on, he doesn't make mistakes, but he doesn't do anything extra. He's just there.
That's the thing.
And I think that is why you're asking the question, like, what's the purpose? So there's still time left. You never know.
Yeah.
It's been a month. It's the Premier League after all. He's still young. So I would say let's give it. But if this continues, I really wonder about his future when he comes back. If he's not gonna have the confidence, because Javi's demand is a lot. He demands the best, or
it's a lot.
It's because even for me, the fact that he demands so much of Lamine Yamal in big games. I mean, the boy's 16. And the amount of confidence that he has when he plays.
But Lamala's quality, I told you in the
asks a lot of a player.
Lamala's brilliant.
We spoke about him in the preseason.
Sure,
if you haven't watched him.
I think Ahmed, why I asked the question is that Brighton went to United and they made like 4 changes to their side and they just arrested players. They went to Old Trafford and they arrested players. And they came out with 3 points. They got smashed at Aston Villa, and then they bounced back the following week. And Thomas been sitting on the bench. He came off the bench the other day, scored 2 goals. He was the match winner. Ferguson, I think he started like only 50% of their games this season. And for me, there would have been times when you would have thought, okay, Fati's going to start here now today.
Fati's going to
Ferguson's on the bench. The only one that's been consistent is Dunk. Solly March, even a Stupian hasn't started every game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Randy
think
hardly, you know.
I didn't get
João
a place.
Pedro,
So
João
you kind
Pedro,
of
they
think with
also
the
rotate.
rotation,
João Pedro.
They also
that they
rotate
go
João
in,
Pedro. They bring on Welbeck also.
yeah. So the rotation
Yeah.
is going on there, and you would think that okay, so now when's he getting the chance? Because I mean, he's at Barcelona. You know, he was. You get youngsters and you get the bracket that he fell in. So the bracket he
Exactly.
fell
Yeah.
in, if he goes to a Brighton, he starts and gets taken off, not sits on the bench and waits for 10, 15 minutes. So, but I
Exactly.
get what you're saying. The injury, he's come back. He's had a loss of confidence. He's young. People, I think in that case, Brighton were disrespected in the fact that you sent him there to get football because they're a team on a journey that have, you know, they're creating good players and sending them on. Then it would have been better off when the chance with him to go to Spurs. All right, I think he would have played more.
You would have,
He
yeah.
opted for Brighton because again, people assume that when they said he chose Brighton over Spurs, that wasn't the truth. He chose Brighton
The
because
Zerbi was key.
we couldn't. De Zerbi wanted him, but he wanted to go to Spurs as well. We couldn't
Mm.
move players until United saved us by taking Reguilon. And then we brought Johnson in. Johnson was signed only when Reguilon went on loan because we
When
couldn't fill
Reguilon
up
left,
the
yeah.
players. So had that happened the Thursday, he would have come to Spurs. He didn't go because we couldn't get rid of players until the Thursday evening when the Reguilon moved. But the Wednesday, he'd already agreed, okay, I'm going to go to Brighton because I'm not going to be able to get to London. He then says, no, but I wanted to come play for Brighton. I just don't think Brighton is the place for him.
Brighton wasn't his first choice. He said Brighton was it, and then he said De Zerbi was the key. He said Brighton was his first choice, but De Zerbi kept on hammering. So the only question
was at Barcelona. De Zerbi was at Barcelona. I never even knew that.
I didn't know that. I never
I also
knew
didn't
that.
know. I heard it when I watched who was on Bible 5? Kevin Prince Boateng
yeah.
last week.
Okay.
He didn't have like a stellar career, but like he was there. So it's that is the confidence saying like, look here, I know where you come from. I know the club. I know what you need. Come, get your confidence back. Because Javi also spoke to. Because Javi didn't. Yeah. Look, when Javi also spoke to him, because I was watching the interview at the time, and Javi was like, when he spoke to him, he said, "This is what you need," and he agreed. So he didn't say, "I'm gonna stay and fight." So it was a mutual understanding of you need to go on loan.
Oh.
And you need to get your confidence back up. And then they started looking for clubs, and then people started knocking on the door because it's Ansu Fati. And the first place he wanted to go was.
Of course.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that you are coming down to. It's Ansu Fati. You know, you expect more from him. So for me, I don't think it was all a hype because he does have the talent and he does have the potential. It's one of those unfortunate things where he's struggling to get his confidence back. And for me, I don't understand why. Because we won the league.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was actually one of my misses. That was one of my misses.
So I don't understand.
Was him. Sorry, I mean, this is one of my misses. Was him? I think it's a miss. So that reputation, and he hasn't even started one single game for Brighton yet.
Exactly. Look, we still have time. Let's touch on something, Bram. We didn't actually have it in our topics, but Eden Hazard retiring in the week.
Yeah.
Shame. What a shame.
Bram, what are your thoughts on it?
It's a shame.
I think it's a shame. It's a shame, but I believe, again, I've always had this theory. Footballers can play for 20 years. They have 10 years out of that 20 where they're at their prime, right? Ryan Giggs was a freak. Steven Gerrard was a freak.
Yeah.
Those were players who looked after their body. They started at a very young age and they played. David Beckham was a freak. But look at these people come from hard grafting coaches, right? Footballers today start at 16, 17. They play till they're in their 30s. By the time they're 26, 27, that peak performance of being real match winners, being real adrenaline, action-packed players delivering 90% of their games. So we're talking about 38 league games. We're talking about Champions League Cup games, where they're operating at peak level. It's by the time they get to 26, 27, Ronaldinho, when he got to 28, 29, he was
Perfect
literally
example.
going downhill.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
there was people only saw him when he went to Barcelona. If you didn't follow, if anybody says they knew Ronaldinho from PSG, you're lying. PSG was an
You're
average
lying.
football club when he was playing.
I
Yeah.
didn't know about him. I
Yeah.
literally
So
only
when
saw him
he
again
when
in
he
the
went,
2002 World Cup.
we only saw 4 years of him, 3 or 4 years at Barcelona, then the 2 years at Milan, and then people were, oh, come on, go watch tapes of him at PSG. Okay, no, he was actually very good at PSG. You never took note of him. He had a 10-year period from 18 to 28 where he was at his
Yeah.
level best. Wayne Rooney as well, same thing. By the time Rooney got to 27, 28, he was good, but he was exceptional as a youngster. So footballers have this 10-year age period where they can play for another 20 years, but they're not great. They're good thereafter. They're great. When you expect him to kick on. And I think that today's footballers, I think Fatih will probably be, if this doesn't turn for him by the time he's 28, 29, he's finished, right? So we come to Hazard, 32 years old, he retires. He's been playing at his peak performance. When he came into the Chelsea team, he hit the ground running from the get-go, and he was always prominent, brilliant. That's why his vote, people are saying he's one of the best the Premier League has ever seen. This guy didn't take time to adjust to the Premier League. He came, he saw, and he just really blitzed the Premier League. The club he played for in France, he took them to the Champions League. They were an average side. He had his 10 years of football, from 20 to about 20, 19 to 28, 27. That was his 10-year period. So I'm not saying guys are going to be consistently good for 10 years. It might be 3 good years, an average year. I'll be 3 years, I'll be on fire. I'll have an average year. But if you take into totality, when I'm at my best, Thierry Henry had about 10 good years in football. But he played at least in his late 30s. But if you look at when he started, so I think Hazard realized, listen, my body is not going to hold up anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to peak fitness. I've already destroyed my reputation at Madrid. I got fat. He got picked up massive weight.
Yeah, he got fat.
It's sad.
Yeah, but that is down to himself. That is why it's so sad. Because I remember watching a lot of interviews with Zidane then, and they're saying they really try to help him, but all of them came down the same thing. We cannot help you if you don't want to help yourself. He blatantly goes eat whatever he wants. He doesn't follow diet. He doesn't do anything. So how can you go to a club like Real Madrid and not have a certain standard? Because clearly you need to have a standard when you're at Real Madrid. So
definitely,
he did it to himself, which is sad because he's such a brilliant footballer. Like, I mean, look at if you look at now, since he announced his retirement, what is all the highlights you see at Chelsea? There isn't highlights for him at Madrid. His highlight at Madrid is a TikTok video of 15 seconds. That's what it is. And it's sad because all he did there was sit there and take money.
Definitely, I agree with you 100%, bro. I mean,
because
he's been there 2 years.
When I heard he's coming, and he was coming from an injury, I was hoping a Premier this mustn't get healed because I do not want to deal with Eden Hazard because I'm coming from the mentality. I saw what he done in the Premier League. Yeah. And if he's doing that in the Premier League, what is he not going to do to my Barcelona team that's struggling to defend? You get what I'm saying? At the time when he came.
For me, there was a period where I think he could have been the top 4 players in the world. There was a 2-year period at Chelsea.
I know.
Where at one stage I thought, for me, this guy, and if he moves from Chelsea, he's going to go somewhere and really. But I think mentally he fell out of love with the game. Probably regretted his decision, and it's hard for. We see players today, man. The money means that I don't need to go back to the game again.
I don't need to worry.
I'm settled for life.
Yeah,
I'm settled. Yeah.
I think he thought, if I must get back in peak shape and get a transfer from Madrid to go to England, I'm 32. I made a lot of money. I've literally won almost everything in football.
He's won everything.
Why did I go back? Why was I go back to England? I've done
if you think about it, he's won Champions Leagues with Madrid without playing a single minute.
Without even playing, and he was part of that golden generation of Belgium also.
He was what?
They won like what?
He won the Premier League. He won the FA Cup. I think he won everything at Chelsea.
Guy won the
And at
Europa
Madrid.
League.
Right?
But he
Yeah,
didn't
he
win the
won
Champions
everything
League. He
at
didn't win the
Chelsea.
Champions League at Chelsea. Because I remember when Chelsea won it, he
Mm-mm.
said, I'm joining the European champions. I remember that.
He left.
But he won the Europe.
But
He
they
left here.
yeah.
But then he won it by Madrid.
Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so he's
would you
won
guys say
everything.
his career was a success or a failure? Or just would you put it in the category of didn't live up to the hype?
I wouldn't say not live up to the hype.
Yeah.
I think it ended bad. It ended in failure.
It ended in failure. I'm gonna go with Ahmed.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Ahmed.
That's what it is.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
a
I can,
miss, but it ended abruptly. If we can
Yeah.
put it that way.
Okay.
But
Say
for
no
me,
more.
definitely play we're gonna miss.
Yeah. Say no
Yeah.
more. Final thoughts, Ahmed? Before we close off. Came in like number 30 in a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's another talk. Final thoughts. On the Barca perspective, we bad. We just drew Girona. He's somehow fighting for the title. I don't know if you guys seen the league.
I also don't know
Girona's
how
like
possible, bro. I saw
Girona's
that, I
like
don't know
second
how.
or third. Like I don't know what's happening at Girona. I don't even focus on a lot of Girona games as much as season, but somehow they're there and they've thrown him aside. I drew. Barca has been digging the inner Madrid, coming back, making comeback wins, scoring 3 goals in 85 and 89 minutes. But it's also the injuries. We're picking up a lot of injuries.
You're picking up a lot, yeah.
Frankie's still not back.
Araujo's still out.
Araujo's back. Araujo's back.
Oh, is Araujo
But
back?
he's looking shaky. But I mean, Frankie's out. Vinicius is out. Pedri's still out. Pedri's almost 2 months out. He's still no return injury. Like, Rafinha's picking up injuries. Balde is getting knocks. Look, we have replacements. It's not what I want.
Not
You
good
know,
enough
I don't want to play with
replacement.
I don't want to play with Marcos Alonso today.
Yeah,
I would rather prefer Balde. There was a game when we were struggling as one of the games to come back. We started with Marcos Alonso and I couldn't understand. And Balde was fit and he was sitting on the bench. The moment Balde came on, changed the whole game. He just brings that spark into the team. I really think he's one of the top left backs. The centre back pairing for me right now, Christensen is really doing a very, very good job. I like what I see from Christensen and Kunde. Honestly, I'm surprised because when he first started, you guys know I was meeting David and I was meeting him about Christensen. It's like, the man can't pass on the back, nothing. But he really developed. And to a surprise, I was like, sometimes he's popping up in centre defensive midfield positions next to Gundogan, and I'm like, okay. And the player that I am, which is probably going to be my miss, which is going to be one of mine, is Inigo Martinez. The defender that we found, he was really a hype, and so far he's just been making mistakes. And I don't think Javi's seeing him as a second choice, not even a third choice at this stage.
Pressure also.
But so far, I really think we can compete. Our classical is going to determine whether we are in the title race. If we lose our classical, we can basically kiss goodbye to a title race.
Yeah.
So early.
I was say so early. Why so early? Remember, they work on a head-to-head basis also, Bram. They don't work on goal difference in their league.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It makes sense.
They work on a head-to-head also in Spain. But now, love for jumping on, my brother.
Yeah, brilliant, Ahmed. Some really good insight you gave us.
Your final thoughts, Governor? Take us out.
Yeah, look, I'm just hoping. I'm just like with injuries. I think all the Premier League clubs is besotted with injuries. Whether it's your fringe players, whether it's your starting 11 players, injuries in world football at the moment, it's really there isn't a club that isn't suffering with at least 2 to 3 injuries at this point in time. I don't think there's a club with a full squad at the moment. So now you've got this stupid international break. You're gonna get and injuries these days is not 1 or 2 weeks, guys. People are out for 6, 7 weeks.
A long
People are
outing,
playing,
yes.
Yeah, the long. I mean, take it
the
out 2 months now. I'm still waiting.
Nkunku's out for the season. Yeah, guy only played pre-season at Chelsea and he's out for the season. So yeah, for me, I just hope guys come away unscathed in this international break, so we can kick on with the Premier League and the Champions League. I'm enjoying watching the Champions League. There's been some fantastic games. Newcastle PSG was out of this world. Even the Arsenal Lens.
Whoa, we didn't even speak about that. Yo.
Yeah, the Arsenal Lens game was exciting. Although you lost, Dave.
But they deserve to win. They deserve to win. I was happy for them. Like their crowd was intimidating, you.
But it was good. So I'm looking back to the football coming back after the international week. But the stupid international week must be just it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
But
that's it from my side, gentlemen.
Love for an awesome show, gentlemen. I always say the unplanned shows are always the best. So. Yeah, people in the chat, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. It's Bram, it's Ahmad, it's DVD, and we are out of here. Bless.
See you guys next week, definitely next week.
So safe.
See you next week, my brother. Next week we will be there. Don't
cheers.
We will be there. Love. There's that stream end.
Yo, thanks.
Let me just end the stream here. We're still live. There we go.